Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we will talk about mailbox quota or controlling the mailbox size on the Exchange environment. Let's go to our Exchange server. Let's go to Server Manager, go to Tools and go to Computer Management. Select Disk Management from the left hand side. As you can see, we have two hard disks which are of 50 GB of space on which we are storing all the mailbox data. In the real life scenarios, this will be of few TBs of hard disk space available on the server for all the mailbox database which stores the mailbox data on the Exchange environment. As the data storage is physical and limited on the capacity, we cannot be granting the unlimited space or the storage for all the mailboxes, and we would want to control the mailbox sizes by using some of the controls available on the Exchange server, one of which is the quota management or mailbox size limitations. Let's close this and go to PowerShell. Let's clear the screen. By default, all the mailboxes on Exchange server will have the unlimited mailbox quota, which you can see by following get mailbox commandlet and hit enter. As you can see, all these users are having prohibit send quota of unlimited size except to the discovery search mailbox. If you want to see more details, we can also use the get mailbox command and limit the results by only name, issue warning quota, prohibit send quota, and prohibit send receive quota. As you can see, all these mailboxes are having unlimited issue warning quota, unlimited prohibit send quota, unlimited send and receive quota. Basically, prohibit send quota will prevent user from sending an email or creating a new exchange item on their mailbox when the threshold is reached, and prohibit send receive quota will prevent the user from sending and receiving the mailbox items on their mailboxes. On the other side, issue warning quota will generate an email whenever the threshold limit is reached on the mailbox. As of now, the mailbox quota on all these mailboxes are set to unlimited. So let's go to our ECP and select Alexa. Go to mailbox usage. The total mailbox size allocated for Alexa is only 2 GB and 15% of it is already being used. So when you see on the PowerShell, Alexa has unlimited quota on the mailbox level. However, in here you can see it is only limited to 2 GB. This is because if we go to more options, these mailboxes are inheriting the mailbox quota from the mailbox database. In this case, for Alexa, she is on the mailbox database DB02. So the limitations on DB02 will be inherited by Alexa. So let's go back to ECP once again and go to servers, go to database. Let's select DB02 and go to edit. If you go to limits, you can see prohibit send quota is 2 GB and prohibit send receive quota is 2.3 GB. And the issue warning quota is at 1.9 GB. So this is how Exchange controls the mailbox size by default. Let's say you have a user who is reaching the 2 GB limits, and we will take example of Catherine Wilkins, and you can see she is a CEO of this company. You can easily imagine that the CEO of the company will have important emails and she cannot delete the emails which are required. So her mailbox threshold will be reached very soon, within a weeks or months, when she has only 2 GB of mailbox size limits. You can check the same here. She also has the 2 GB. So you may want to change the mailbox size for this individual user. To do that, let's go to PowerShell, clear the screen. To increase the mailbox size for Catherine, we will use set mailbox commandlet and provide the email address of the Catherine. For now, I will be giving Catherine with 100 GB of prohibit send quota and 100 GB of prohibit send receive quota, and issue warning quota will be at 99 GB. As the mailbox is inheriting the mailbox sizes from the default database or from the database where the mailbox is stored, we have to also use database quota defaults switch and set it to false. Let's hit enter. So once it is done, if you use get mailbox and provide the email address of Catherine, you can see she has 100 GB now. And if you refresh on the ECP and go to usage details, you can see she has 100 GB now here as well. And this has changed from use the default quota settings from database to custom quota settings for this particular mailbox. You can also change mailbox quota using ECP. Let's select Alexis, go to mailbox usage, and in the more option, you can select the custom quota defaults. You can always set the custom quota settings on each mailboxes from ECP as well. So let's hit save. If you refresh and go back to mailbox usage, you can see Alexis is having 20 GB of mailbox quota, and the same is reflected here. We can also see the same on PowerShell by using get mailbox. You can see Alexis is having 20 GB and Catherine is having 100 GB of mailbox quota. So this is how you can change the mailbox quota limits for each individual mailboxes using ECP and PowerShell. However, when you have to change the mailbox quota for multiple mailboxes, you may have to use PowerShell. As an example, I am going to change the mailbox quota for all the users who are having the title as managers. So let's create a variable called manager, and we will use get recipient commandlet, and we will provide result size unlimited, and we will pipe this result on the filter, and we will filter this result using where filter, and we will filter with title, which is like contains the word manager in the title of the user account. Let's hit enter. So if we go back to manager variable, we have 5 mailboxes on the manager variable. If you go back to manager variable and select the name and title of these users, you can see Camelia is R&D manager, John is security manager, Oscar is IT manager, Pearl is HR manager, and Tristan is sales manager. So let's say we want to change the mailbox size for all these users. In this case, we will use the same variable, which is manager, and pipe this result to set mailbox and provide the switch prohibit send quota, which I'm going to give as 20 GB, and prohibit send receive quota, I will set it as 20 GB again, and the issue warning quota, I will set it to 19 GB. I will also mention the switch, use database quota defaults, and set it to false. Let's hit enter. As you can see, the command executed successfully. Let's use the same variable $manager and pipe it to get mailbox to see the mailbox quota of these users. As you can see, all these users are now having 20 GB of mailbox quota on each of these mailboxes. Let's take another scenario where you have a list of users provided with email address on the Excel or the text document. In this case, we can also use PowerShell to change the mailbox quota. So let's clear the screen. For this scenario, I will use the same PowerShell command which I used earlier, and I will tweak the command to title does not contains the manager, and the title does not contain the CEO, and the title does not contain CISO on any of the user. So this should give me all the user list who are not managers. And I will also use the recipient type filter to filter out the distribution group. So I will use the recipient type as a filter here. In this case, I will use the like, and I want to return only the user mailbox. And I also don't want to see the discovery search mailbox here. So I will exclude that as well using the name, which is here, not like, starting with discovery, which should do the trick, and exclude all this. Let me fix this and hit enter. As you can see, we have only the user mailboxes and excluded the dynamic distribution group as well as this discovery search mailbox from the result. And this is like, if we put it through measure, we have around 22 users. And let's take the primary SMTP of these users on the notepad and extract the email address by using format table, and we will only output the primary SMTP, and we will also hide the header. This should give email addresses of all these users. Let's use this list and change the mailbox quota for all these mailboxes. So let's clear the screen and import the notepad content on the PowerShell using the variable called email is equal to, and we will use get content commandlet to get the content from the notepad file, and we will mention the path of the notepad which is on the desktop. Hit enter. If you see the email variable now, we have all the 22 email addresses. You can also see the count using the variable dot count, and this will also give the same results. Let's clear this as well. We can use the $email variable to change the mailbox quota on each mailboxes by using two methods, one of which is using the similar way by piping the variable and use the set mailbox commandlet and provide the prohibit send quota, prohibit send receive quota, and issue warning quota. Or else we can also use for each loop. In this case, I will show you how to use for each loop. So let's use a dummy variable called $a in $email. So this will pick each email address from the $email variable and put it in $a variable. And let's open parenthesis, hit enter. Now we will do set mailbox on $a, which is a single mailbox address from the $email. I will provide the prohibit send quota as 5 GB and prohibit send receive quota as 5 GB. I will set the issue warning quota at 4.5 GB. This will execute this command on the first value of $A and then loop in and get the second email address or second line content from the $email variable and execute it on that second line of variable here. So it will loop in until the $email is completed and the commandlet is executed on each line of content on the $email variable. So technically, it should execute this command on each email addresses which are added on the $email variable. So let's hit enter. As you see, the command has been completed. Let's use this command to see the name, issue warning quota, prohibit, send and send receive quota as well. As you can see, some of these users are now having 4.5 GB and Camellia is now having 20 GB here. Let's use the auto size. Some of these mailboxes now having 5 GB and some are having 20 GB. And Catherine, who is a CEO of this company, is still having 100 GB as we set the mailbox quota for her manually using the PowerShell commandlets in the beginning of this video. Let's clear this screen and go to ECP, refresh the page. Now if you take any user, they should be having the custom mailbox size based on how we set it using the PowerShell. However, Franklin, who is a CISO, is still having 2 GB because we excluded CISO from our commandlet. As you see here, we excluded the CISO from our commandlet, so he is still having 2 GB. So this is how you can use PowerShell to set the mailbox quota on multiple mailboxes. In my point of view, managing the mailbox sizes manually is not a good practice. So we can make use of the databases from here to assign the mailbox quota on each mailboxes which are stored within the databases. So if we set database quota limits on these databases to, let's say, 4.5 GB and 5 GB here and 5 GB here, this should be applied to all the mailboxes which are stored within this database. So as we discussed in this video, we have users like standard users, we have managers, and we have some VIP users on our environment. To provide a different mailbox quota for all these different type of users, we will use these two databases for standard users, and we will create two more databases, one for the managers and one for VIP users. Let's create the database for managers. Let's call it as managers DB and save it on the server ex1901 and mount this database. This is warning us to restart the Microsoft Exchange Information Store service on the server. We will do it in a minute. Let's create one more database for VIP users. And also save it on the same server and set this to mount this database and save this. Now let's go to services and restart the information store. And close this. As you see, we have two databases for standard users. We have one database for managers. We have one database for VIP users. If you go to managers DB and go to limits, as you see, 2 GB is the default limit for any newly created database. Before we make changes on the database, let's cancel this and go to PowerShell. and go back to get mailbox commandlet and hit enter. As you see, we have already made the changes using the PowerShell on most of these mailboxes. So let's revert this custom mailbox quota using the PowerShell command, which I have pasted here, and hit enter. So this is setting the mailbox sizes to unlimited, and it is also setting the use database quota defaults to false. So once this is done, if you do the get mailbox again, you can see most of these are set to unlimited now. This particular error is explicitly for the discovery mailbox search because its limit is set to 60 GB by default. So let's ignore this error. So as we set the use database quota defaults to false here to change it to unlimited, we have to set it back to true to inherit the quota defaults from the database. So let's do that as well using this command. This warning says the command executed successfully, but there was no changes made for discovery search mailbox. This is fine. Let's clear the screen and go back to our ECP. Go to recipients. Let's refresh the page. And if you go to mailbox usage of any user, you see 2 GB is set to all these users, and it is set to use default quota from mailbox database. You can also see the Catherine Wilkins. She is also having the same 2 GB and set to use default quota settings from mailbox database. So let's now use this databases and edit the default database quota and set this limit to 4.5 GB as issue warning quota and 5 GB for prohibit and prohibit send receive quota. Let's do the same for DB02 as well. So all the standard users will have 5 GB of database quota. If we go back to recipients and refresh and go to mailbox usage, you can see 5 GB is set for all these users by default, and this is being inherited by the database limits. However, for the managers DB, we want 20 GB. Let's set that as well. And the issue warning quota will be set to 19 GB. Let's set this and save. And for the VIP users, we will set 99 GB as issue warning quota, and we will give 100 GB for prohibit send and prohibit send and receive quota for these users. As you know, we do not have any users on these databases, and you can confirm that using this particular column here. If you do not have this column, you can go to this three dots, click on add remove columns and select database, and you will be able to see this column. As a side note, by using this method, you can set the mailbox quota for standard users, VIP users, and managers. However, when there is an issue with the database or when the database is doing its maintenance, you may see some users from standard users are moved to VIP users and VIP users being moved to standard users databases, which is DB01 and DB02. So to avoid this, let's set the managers DB and VIP users database as a restricted databases by using the PowerShell commandlet. To do that, let's get the list of database using get mailbox database, and we will filter it with where command and exclude the databases which contains the name like DB0. As we know, this is the common name for both of these databases. So this should give us only the managers DB and VIP DB. Let's use not like to exclude these databases. So we now have only managers DB and VIP users database. To exclude them from the auto provisioning or mounting these normal databases on the VIP database or managers database, we can use these two parameters or the switch, which is excluded from provisioning by operator. This will prevent only the maintenance jobs and not the manual moves. So you can still move the normal mailboxes to the VIP users or managers DB manually using PowerShell command or using ECP. And this switch, which is excluded from provisioning reason, is requesting you to give the reason why we are excluding this from the provisioning. Let's block these two databases from auto provisioning by the operator using the commandlet called get mailbox database. In this case, we will set for managers and set mailbox database. We will use is excluded from provisioning by operator and set it to true. And we will also provide is excluded reason. This DB is only for managers. So let's hit enter. We will use the same command and we will change the reason to VIP users, and we will also change the database name here to VIP users and set this values. So from now on, these two mailbox databases will be prevented from auto provisioning of the standard mailboxes by operator or the maintenance jobs. So we have the databases ready. However, we do not have any users on these databases, as you can see on the recipients page here. To add the mailboxes or move the mailboxes to these particular databases, we can use the previous variables which we created for managers, and this is having 5 users. So we will use this switch and we will create a new move request, and we will provide target database as managers DB, and we will provide the priority as emergency to put it on the highest priority and hit enter. So this command is moving all these mailboxes from DB01 or DB02 to managers DB. So for Tristan, we already had a existing move request. So let's remove that using get move request, and we can filter with identity and remove this using remove move request and press A to all. So now if you see the move request, we do not have Tristan here. So let's do the command once again. So this should give error for all 4 except Tristan. So if we go back to get more request, we have all 5 more requests in progress and it is being moved to managers DB. So let's use one of the previous command, and instead of using not like, we will only use the like, which is for the CO and CISO. So we should only get the CO and CISO users on this filter. Okay, I just made a mistake here. It should not be and, it should be or. So either one of these values should be there. So let's hit enter now, and we should have two mailboxes here. As you see, Franklin Glass, who is the CISO, and Catherine Wilkins is our CEO. You can see that using FL, name, and title if I give. As you see here, Franklin is our CISO and Catherine is our CEO. So let's use this filter and move these mailboxes using new more request for these, and provide the target database as the VIP users, and we will also provide the priority as emergency and hit enter. So this should move both these mailboxes to the VIP database. So if I go back to get more request, you can see all these other mailboxes are being moved to managers DB, and Franklin and Catherine's are being moved to VIP users. So let's see the progress by piping this result to get more requests and statistics. So you see these mailboxes are currently being moved. So let's give it a time and come back once it is completed. Let's clear the screen. In case if you messed up with any of these steps, you can always roll back the changes by using these two commands. The first command will set all the mailboxes warning quota and send receive quota to unlimited by setting the database quota defaults to false. So once you have this set, you can do this command to set the use database quota defaults to true to inherit the quota limits from the databases itself. So this will revoke all the changes that we have made so far, and it will set it to default quota limits. By the way, I will be sharing all these commandlets on my website as well as on the video description. Please go check it out. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel for such amazing content in the future. And if you want me to create content on any of the topics which you like, please let me know in the comments. Let's go back to our PowerShell and see the more requests. Let's give it a time. I will be back once this is completed. As you can see, the mailbox move has been completed for all these mailboxes. Let's do get mailbox and also add the database name at the beginning to see where it is. As you can see, some of these mailboxes have been moved to managers DB, and these VIP users have been moved to VIP users. And you still see unlimited warning quota and unlimited prohibited send quota for these users. Let's clear the screen and go back to ECP. Refresh this page and go to recipient and refresh this page as well. We have 5 mailboxes on managers DB and 2 mailboxes on VIP users. So let's open Catherine Wilkins now and go to mailbox usage. You can see 100 GB is set on this mailbox. If you click on more options, this is still getting the default quota limits from the mailbox database, and it is same for Franklin as well. And if you go to one of the managers mailbox, it is set to 20 GB, and this is also derived or inherited from the mailbox database quota defaults. So this is how you can manage the mailbox quota using PowerShell and ECP. We can use all these ideas which we used on this video and create a PowerShell script and automate this process of moving these mailboxes by default when we are provisioning the mailbox itself. This will avoid any future manual interventions required to move the mailboxes from standard mailbox database to one of the managers or VIP users databases for non-standard users. For all the standard users, the mailboxes will be created on DB01 and DB02 by default, as per our current settings. But if you want to see how to automate this process for managers and VIP users while we are provisioning the mailbox itself and want to know more about the PowerShell script, let me know on the comments and I will create a PowerShell script for the same and create a video for that on my channel. This is it for this video. I hope this was informative. See you on the next one.